All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. This is Coach Rose, AJ, Carnivore Girl for Life, coming to y'all with another fabulous, fantabulous you today. And today we have Miss Audra Coleman, who is here. She's known as All Things Audra. But what we're going to do, which is kind of unique, is Miss Audra's going to just take it straight, no chaser. She's going to talk to us. I've asked her to speak about one or two very specific points about her health journey, but she's going to take it away and share what she will because we set this interview up with 30 minutes. So I'm on my way to work, and y'all, I got to get him in how I can get him in, right? Okay, so Miss Audra, it's all about you. I'm going to mute myself, girlfriend. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, and thank you for having me on your channel. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you on your channel and talk about this journey that we're on together. Um, so basically, I've done every diet known to man. You name it, I've done it. You know, what's the latest greatest fad for the week or the month, or when you stand in the checkout line and there's the magazine over there, what are we going to do this month? I've done all those things, including weight loss surgery. So basically, the thing that I never really understood was addiction. And it's taken me all these years to figure out addiction. Like I said, I would lose weight, I would do good, clothes size would go down, the scale would go down. Yes, yes, I was happy. But then all of a sudden, I would find myself going back to sugar. So, what does that have to do with this? Well, sugar is a very serious addiction. I was not really addicted to food. I was addicted to sugar. And when I say sugar, I mean like Reese cups and cake icing. That was my thing. I was very addicted to that. And like I said, I would lose weight. I would do really, really good. I would, my clothes size would go down. And then I would be like, oh, well, now I think I've earned, I've earned a prize. And the prize would always be sugar. So what would happen is I would go back to the sugar addiction. Next thing you know, I'm face down in the ditch. The sugar bus runs over me, and I'm hooked again on sugar. So basically, a few years ago, like I said, I had weight loss surgery. I had a really bad weight loss surgery. I had two leaks. I was in the hospital 8 weeks, should have been there 2 days. It's kind of a nightmare of a situation. And I lost weight. And, of course, they told me, oh, you'll never gain this weight back. This is an end all, cure all, fix all. Wrong. They operated on my stomach, but they didn't do anything to my brain. And my brain is what is so addicted to sugar. So eventually I found my way back to sugar again, went down the sugar path again, ended up in the sugar ditch again, ended up hooked on sugar again. And then I went keto. Well, keto was pretty good for a while, but then I started having the fat bombs, which is a form of artificial sweeteners. There again, I think I'm doing good. Let's just have a keto fat bomb. Well, I got to the place where I was addicted to keto fat bombs. So then I started looking around on YouTube, looking on the internet, and I found Miss Kelly Hogan and I found Dr. Ken Berry, and I started listening to them, and they were talking about how they had no sugar addiction. They had no sugar cravings, no sugar whatsoever. Kelly at the time had been eating meat for like 12 years. And I started looking into it, and I started listening, and I started thinking, maybe I am addicted to sugar. Whoever heard of such? I always thought addiction was drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, shopping, things of that nature. But whoever thought sugar could be an addiction? Well, I started delving into carnivore in January of 21. Messed with it till September. I'd do really, really good all week. And then on the weekends, I would fall off the wagon and I would have sugar. And I couldn't figure out why come Monday I was wanting sugar again. Well, I was in that addiction phase again. So basically, I had to learn for myself that I was highly sugar addicted. And to this day, I don't eat sugar because I know from all the past years' experience, if I eat any sugar, I'm going to be addicted again. I'm not addicted. Alcohol doesn't bother me. Cigarettes stink. They don't bother me. I don't smoke cigarettes, you know. Drugs, I've never delved in any of that. But for me, my DOC, which is drug of choice, is sugar. So I know for me, I have to stay away from that. And that means, you know, if I go to a birthday party or something like that, I can't have a bite of a cupcake. I mean, who eats a bite of a cupcake? You know, I would eat the whole cupcake and then tomorrow I would be right back sugar addicted again. And I'm not willing to go down that path. I'm almost 3 years carnivore now. In September will be 3 years. And I know that I can never moderate sugar.
Can I ask you something, Miss Audra? When you was growing up and you got into the sugar, do you remember what age it may have been that you preferred like sugar foods, fast food, or whatever your jam was? What age could you pinpoint? And did your diet history start like in middle school, high school, or was it into your teen and adult years that began?
Okay, so it'd probably be easier for me to answer this a different way. I
Okay.
can never remember not being addicted to sugar. As kids, we grew up on sugar. You know, you
Okay.
went to school, you did good, have some cookies, you know, have some Kool-Aid with its really sugar, you know, 2 or 3 cups of sugar in the Kool-Aid. That made it
Mhm.
better. You know, growing up, we had lots of cookies, candy, ice cream, cupcakes, you know, I don't ever remember a time in my life that I was not in love with sugar. My family
Okay.
was too.
So, did you ever eat like any real foods along with, the snacks that you were having throughout the day, or was your preference just sugar? The reason I'm asking is because I tracked my eating addiction to, or sugar addiction, the whole nine back to 3.5 due to emotional and childhood trauma, right? 3.5 is my earliest memories, but I never ate any real food, if that makes sense. It was always the junk. I would always eat the cookies, the candy. And when you talk about Kool-Aid, girl, I don't know. We might be in the same age range. I think I'm a little older than you, where you would put the Kool-Aid up in your hand and you would lick it like that. Did you ever do that with the
Mhm.
pre-sugared?
Oh yeah.
Kool-Aid was all the rage, or you put them in the styrofoam cups, real, real sweet, and put them in the refrigerator. I mean, in the
Hmm.
freezer, and then that was your icy and stuff. So I never really, really ate food. It was always junk, right?
Yeah.
What
Same
about
for
you?
me.
Okay.
Same for me. We used to have this convenience store in our neighborhood, and you know that was when the world was safe, and you could walk to the convenience store as kids, you know. And we'd walk to the convenience store and we'd get a little brown bag full of candy, you know, all on the bottom of the bottom row of the candy aisle was all those like little, I don't know, nickel, dime, whatever they were. And we'd fill a whole bag full up of those, you know. And I mean, we'd be walking by the time we get home, we'd have half the bag eat, you know. And I mean, we were very sugar addicted. Like I said, I mean, I can remember growing up, you know, you come home from school in the afternoon, you get some type of an afternoon snack. You know, birthday parties, I always wanted the corner of the cake, you know, the corner piece of the birthday cake. And I want you to go ahead and get all that icing around the edge with the knife and put that on my cake too, because I'm gonna eat all that icing.
You know,
That's
I knew, not to cut in, I knew you was a girl after my soul when I had heard that the first time, right? Because a Costco cake, all the corners were mine. I feel you
mhm.
on that. I feel you. Okay, girl, go on.
Yep, yep, definitely. But I mean, I can remember probably about the age of 12 or 13, they came out with Slim Fast bars, you know, like a Slim Fast bar. And I was like, oh, mom, buy me these Slim Fast bars. I want to lose 5 pounds. Girl, I would eat like two of them or three of them. I wasn't happy till the box was empty. And I really didn't have a weight issue then. I don't think I really had developed a weight issue until my late 20s, early 30s, and then the sugar addiction started to catch up. I was that person that if we had kids' cereal in the house, you know, Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, Apple Jacks, I could name them all. Okay. I was not happy till either the roof of my mouth was raw or the box was empty, whichever occurred first. You know, we had Pop Tarts. You know, I mean, for me, let's just get this meal over with. You said that about junk food. I mean, for me, I would go to a restaurant and get like the smallest salad they have, maybe with some grilled shrimp or something, and then bring me the biggest, baddest, meanest, nastiest dessert you have, and don't bring no extra spoons because I don't want to share it. I
You
mean,
know,
that's how I was. I mean,
you,
it's sad, but now I look back and now I acknowledge all that. I mean, I was very sugar addicted. And I don't care about bread. Like I'm not a bread person. Just sugar.
so you and your Reese's, was it the Reese's peanut butter cups you was talking
Yes,
about?
the white
See,
chocolate. Mm-hmm.
mhm. See, me and you is the same on that too, meaning that this is mine. I'm going to eat this. If you want yours, you better get yours while we're at the store, or I will buy you extra. And if you don't eat the extra, it's gone. I'm going to eat it for
Yeah,
you. So it's no longer in the house because my
that's
brain
right.
won't settle down until everything is gone.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
noise. It's like a
Yes.
constant noise. I
Yes.
mean, and I say that all the time. I joke about how when we would go off with our friends and ride motorcycles and we stop at a convenience store, I'm going to get a king size pack of white chocolate Reese's and I'm going to eat all four. Okay. Don't ask for one. I don't share them. If you want one, I'll buy you a pack and I'll help you eat your four, but you can't have one of my four. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. I was serious about it. I mean, there would be times I'd get stressed out. And if I didn't have anything sweet, I'd just go to the convenience store, buy 3 or 4 candy bars, bring them home. And then I wasn't happy until they were all gone because that noise just keeps on.
Yeah, and you mentioned also just a few minutes ago about Slim Fast. Um, did you stay on the Slim Fast bars for a while, or did you be like, "Oh no, this ain't gonna work," or did you try some other diets prior to you having surgery? And if you could talk a little bit more about your surgery, in reference to if you knew what you knew now and are experiencing now with this way of life versus the surgery. Maybe speak to someone who might be contemplating that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry. North Carolina allergies. Um, So I decided in 2013 I was going to have the surgery. I actually gained 25 pounds to make my BMI high enough to have it because that was the thing. Everybody was saying, this is the way to go. This is what you need to do. This is like I said, fix all, cure all, end all, no more problems. You won't gain the weight back. No more yo yo dieting. It fixes everything. So I had the surgery in 2013. Like I said, I developed 2 leaks. I was in the hospital for 8 weeks. It was a complete nightmare. I was in PO for 21 weeks, which means nothing by mouth for 21 weeks. I had a PICC line in my arm and I had something called TPN, which is total parental nutrition, that I had to be on every day, which was like 1,600 calories of basically sugar water, is what it was. So I was not able to eat anything at all. Now, 10 years later, 11 years later, I'm fine. I'm over the surgery, and knock on wood, thank goodness I have no complications from it. But I found my way back to sugar, and I mean, they tell you that it'll fix it, and it doesn't fix it. You have to fix your relationship with sugar. And people don't understand that. And I didn't understand that when I had the weight loss surgery. I just wanted to be smaller and I wanted to quit yo yo dieting and I wanted to be a certain size and I wanted to never worry about gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight again. And they convinced me that that would work, that this fixes that. And of course they tell you what to eat and tell you a diet, but they don't tell you to eliminate carbs. And even if you're not eating sugar, if you're eating mashed potatoes and you're eating sweet potatoes and you're eating, carbs in your vegetables, that's going to make you have sweet cravings. And that's something that you totally have to address is your relationship with food, whether it's bread, pasta, sugar, whatever your carb addiction is. And like I said, my carb addiction was just straight up sugar. Like I said, I didn't have a weight problem in school. I didn't really develop a weight problem until in my late 20s, early 30s. And yes, I did do Slim Fast then, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, cabbage diet, whatever. Like I said, I'd go through the supermarket aisle and whatever was on the front of the magazine for the week. We'd try that, try something different. But I never one time eliminated the problem. And the problem was the sugar. And that was an addiction.
So when you look back on all of that, Audra, because I know that you coach people also, you have a coaching group that you run. Um, well, maybe you can talk about your coaching practice if you'd like, and where people can find you in that regard. And if you address just the sugar side, or do you address the food side? Do you address it all, or do you address it as it comes up? How do you coach people through that?
Okay, so my coaching group is allthingsaudra.com. That's my website. And you'll see on there you can join a coaching group, and it is on Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time by Zoom. And we do talk about cravings. We talk about what we eat. We kind of talk about whatever the topic is for the week. If somebody's having a hard time, they're struggling with cravings, we'll address that issue. If somebody's tired of eating hamburger and they need some different ideas, we'll address that issue. Before I ever started Carnivore, I didn't think I needed community. I just thought, well, yeah, who needs that? Hey, my name's Audra and I'm addicted to sugar. Well, apparently I needed it. I needed to know there were other people out there who are like-minded, who have some of the same problems that I was having, the sugar addiction. So I've had so many people comment to me on YouTube's about, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one that wanted the corner of the birthday cake. And they're like, it makes me feel so good to know that you were that person too, or that you were addicted to icing. So it's good. Some people call it frosting. In the South, we call it icing. But anyway, it's good to know that there are other people out there that have the same problem. And you can get help too. And you can lean on other people for support. So I do think that community is very valuable. I've been in many communities, as far as getting help and figuring out the way to go and how to stop this yo-yo dieting, how to stop the sugar addiction, and how to get on board and be healthier. For me, in the beginning, it was about the weight loss. Now, for me, it's more about being the healthiest me I can be.
Girl, I feel you on that. It's all about the weight loss. So long as I hit a certain number on the scale, I'm good to go. But I'm like, wait a minute, my mental health, my energy level, the way I see people, the way I relate to myself, that's at the top of my list. Aesthetics might be second, right? But
Right.
yes. So thank you for sharing with us how you work with your clients and how you support them and whatnot. So, is there anything that you would like to share with someone that might be sitting on the edge of the ledge, trying to make a decision whether they're going to stay the same or take a leap of faith and try the carnivore way of life, or even the ketogenic way of life? And I can't remember, did you do keto yourself?
Hmm. I did for two
Yeah.
years. Hmm.
Yeah. So what was your process or progress like on that? Because I want to share with mine after you share yours, hun, with the
Yeah,
ketogenic.
with keto, when I did keto, like I said, I was definitely into the fat bombs. I was addicted to the fat bombs. I could make the fat bombs with my eyes closed, blindfolded, and then you eat one and then you're like, well, it's keto. Let me eat two and let me eat four. Next thing you know, you've eaten five or six of them. So yeah, I did good with keto, but way better with carnivore. So for me, that's kind of how mine was better. Um, and the thing I would say to people, you said that about if people are on the edge. Here's the thing: time is going to pass today, tomorrow, next week. Time is going to pass. And it's up to you what you do during that time. I mean, time is not going to stop, and none of us are getting any younger. Every day we get a day older, and every day you can't go backwards and redo something. You can only do today, tomorrow, and moving forward. So my thing would be to try keto or to try carnivore. If you're coming from a very highly addicted, carb addicted, sugar addicted, standard American diet, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because the sugar demon is in your head. And it'll take a good couple weeks to get to where you don't crave sugar. And it'll be hard to fight it, but you just have to fight it till you get there. And then you'll see, if you let it back in one day, then that becomes 2 days, 2 days become 4 days. I am not a moderator. I am not a moderator. I have to be an abstainer. So like I said, when you first start out, it's a little tough, but anything's tough. You start going to the gym and lifting weights, you're going to be sore. It's going to be tough when you first start, but you push through. And the same thing with this addiction. Sugar addiction, food addiction, carb addiction is all very serious. It is a true addiction. And once you break that addiction, you don't want to go back and break it again. For me, I don't want to have to go back and work to where I'm at now to get over sugar addiction.
Thank you. That was so beautifully said. So when I delved into this on December 2nd, 2018, I went hard for keto and intermittent fasting simultaneously, but I've always been a volume binge eater, just continual binge eater. So I did everything haphazardly wrong, but I eventually figured it out, right? And my thing about the ketogenic diet, it does work for some people. And like you just said, that it just might not be enough for some people with a sugar addiction. And that's what I didn't realize, that all these artificial sweeteners, certain foods kept triggering me, especially like cashews were my jam, ketogenic. And I got caught up in counting everything, counting everything, became more obsessive with that. And I would still go over the 50 grams and, just justifying it. My weekdays would be perfect, 2 days on the weekend, just this weekend. So I was repeating my history from 12 years forward, from 12 years old forward. So that didn't change until I went on the carnivore diet. So it kind of cleared the path for success and stability. So now, Miss Audra, you just attended a couple of events, if I remember correctly. Would you like to speak about the events and some of the things that you guys did there?
Yeah, so I just attended Meat Stock 2024. I was on a panel with some wonderful ladies and spoke a couple times. We had some amazing speakers there. Several doctors were there. Sean Baker, Dr. Kilt, Sally Norton was there. Serena was there. Courtney Luna was there. Kelly Hogan was there. So basically, we went up to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Scott, who runs the Meat Stock, it's Wired for Healing is what it's called. And he rented a huge house up there, and we had 2 retreats that were back to back. So every day we got to be with like-minded people. We had carnivore meals. There were a few people there who were keto, so we had meals to accommodate them as well. And we had lots of fellowship. We went on some hikes. We went to a farm. We heard people's stories. I mean, when I tell you amazing stories for people with healing, oh my gosh, amazing stories. Things that people have healed. I love to hear that. I mean, it just like makes me beam. Like I just beam this light when I hear people's stories and how good they're doing versus how bad they were doing. And like I said earlier, none of us are getting any younger. So with age, we develop more problems. So the sooner that you fix the diet, hopefully the better off you'll be. But it was an amazing retreat. We were there, like I said, it was 2 retreats back to back. Great speakers. I mean, we had so much fun. The view was spectacular. People had workouts. We had yoga. We had meditation. And like I said, we had 3 amazing meals a day that were cooked by Miss Patty. And it was a great retreat. And I'm getting ready to go to, it used to be called KetoCon, and now it's called Hack Your Health. And that'll be later this month in Austin, Texas. And that'll be an amazing event. Be a lot of vendors there, a lot of speakers, a lot of doctors. And usually there's 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 people that attend that event.
That's so exciting. I think I'm going to put something of that caliber on my calendar for next year. I have to really commit to that because I usually travel just mostly on the West Coast or during the summers or during break because of school and whatnot. But Miss Audra, I need you to tell folks where they can find you once again and what your specialty is, because I know there's going to be somebody listening versus reading the show notes. This will all be in the show notes as well. But go on and tell them once again, please.
Okay, so I have the title of Queen of Dehydration. So I make a lot of dehydrated meat. I make a lot of dehydrated brisket, ribeye, chuck eye. I do pork loin, and literally the pork loin tastes like potato chips. It's just very thinly sliced pork loin. Dehydrate it for 12 hours. Put some Redmond's real salt on it. It is amazing. Anyway, I have a YouTube channel on that. My YouTube is called All Things Audra, and I show you how to do dehydrated meat, as well as some of my journey, and some of the events I've attended are on there as well. And my website again is allthingsaudra.com, where I do group coaching, I do individual coaching, and there's a little bit about my weight loss surgery and things on there of that nature, some before and after pictures. And my TikTok is also All Things Audra. And then my Instagram is Carnivore Private Eye. So, and that's basically the way you find me.
Girl, I didn't know you was up on TikTok. That is
Yeah.
beautiful. I tried TikTok and TikTok did not work for me. Okay. But I love that you're on there. So I got to go find you there and all that good stuff. But I do want to say thank you so much for your time today, Miss Audra. And I'm trying to delve into doing YouTube lives. So I want to invite you back at a time that's convenient for you to come back and actually do a live, girl, a
Well,
live.
thank you for having
Okay.
me. Thank you for
Yes,
having
ma'am.
me.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
first time I saw you and I saw your
Uh-huh.
energy, I was like, oh, that girl's speaking to me. That her energy is speaking to me. And then next
Okay.
thing I know, I got an email from you saying, hey, can you be
Yes.
on my channel?
We were
I'm like,
doing some telepathic
absolutely.
things. Yes, ma'am.
Right. That's right.
All
And I would
right.
love to be on one of your lives. And thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So hold one. I'm going to hit pause, love.